take us off the live stream, I will do a promo. We keep the stream going, but take me off or take us off. Yes, do you want me to do promo or not? Send me the link of the stream. Yes, I heard the message. Did you hear that thing? Oof, okay. You know, somebody suddenly will decide to send me a wall of texts. Yeah, it happens on the it happens on the least expected times. Cool. Yeah. Okay, promo time. Hello everybody. The stream or the podcast is going to start soon. I suggest you follow this link where I'm pointing at. Due to technical difficulties, it's going to happen. It's going to happen on Johann's stream. By the way, say hi to Johann. He's over there. Oh shit! I need to do this again. I can't show them my bed. Hello everybody. The podcast will start soon. Due to technical difficulties happening on Johann's YouTube channel, so I'm going to put the link upstairs here. I mean, on this little guy over there, wherever that is. Please go follow that link. Please go follow that link to log into the stream, the podcast stream. Let's see you there. Yo! Bro. I did something that I can only tell you off stream.
What?
I'll tell you later. Done. Yeah, boy. I should also have the questions for me to ask you, right? Yeah. But how? Do you want to go ask me first, and then I start asking you first, or? Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Are you recording? Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough on the first day. I mean, nobody knows about us. Yeah, we can start. Basically, you asked me the question. It's going to be same. What about you, right?
they're a little different because like you're more used to like live music. I feel like mixing music is
Mixing,
like
yeah.
equal as
Production, yeah.
okay. I'm gonna start.
I'll twist it to production. When I ask.
Can I put one?
It's our world, man. We can do whatever we want as long as YouTube doesn't ban us.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
Okay, live. Hey everyone. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Johann, and this is Prapujya. This is Prapujya. Sorry,
Hello, hello.
this is Prapujya. And yeah, we're gonna be doing little breakdown stream. We're gonna be having a conversation. Right now, it's just gonna be a podcast. Um, we're gonna be talking about our backgrounds. We're gonna talk about our experiences, all that stuff. You can see the progress bar down below that says Road to 500. Right now, we are pushing for 500 subscribers by the end of the next couple of months. So just hit that subscribe button. We are going to be doing this every Saturday at 5 GST. We had a little bit of problems today with technical difficulties, but hopefully by next week it should work out a little better. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Shall we get to it?
Yes.
So, where do we start? What do you want to start with?
Let's talk about why we are here. I mean, let's talk about what we do for those of you who don't know who we are.
Right.
My name is Prapujya Ramesh. I'm a mixing engineer, mastering engineer. Been doing this since 2016. Relatively new, I would say, but then um, I've been on the top 10 of the India rock charts. Um, and on the R&B charts, and also number 25, top 25 of the pop charts as well. Chart topping mixing and mastering engineer over here. I'm yeah, I'm just being sarcastic here. I'm
No,
not
but in
this
any case,
egotist.
I feel like your work definitely has something to speak for because
Yes.
I've heard like a ton of I heard like Dave's music. I know you got I know you got this little like playlist
Yeah.
on your Spotify, which I had to do some sleuthing, but I found it. The mixed by Prapujya Ramesh, and I'll link
Right.
that in the bio of this live if you guys want, or I'll just put it in the chat, and then maybe you guys
Yeah.
can like check it out. But really like awesome stuff. Um, you're like a
Those who
masterful
don't
engineer. Yeah.
those who don't know me are going to think like, oh my goodness, what an ego.
Nah, man. I'm pretty sure it's like I'm pretty sure it's cool.
Mm.
But yeah. So let's begin
Please
with
introduce yourself, Johan,
oh yeah, sure.
and hype yourself up.
Okay. I my name is Johan. For those of y'all who don't know me, I was actually Prapujya's junior in college. That's how we know each other. And I have been, in the world of music for like a while. Like since I was 6, I started playing my first instrument. I'm a multi instrumentalist, a music producer. I have another album that's coming out very soon. I'm a music teacher currently. I'm based in the UAE, and things have been pretty cool so far. Music is basically like my whole life. Um, don't have any. I don't have any accolades like Prapujya in terms of like chart topping stuff, but
Oh, come on. You're Trinity grade 8 in how many
but
instruments
yeah,
now?
I think like I don't know. I lost count, man. I don't like. I think like 5 or 6 or something. I don't know. But
Oh, six instruments.
instruments, yeah. But no, it
Yeah,
just comes to me. It's pretty it's pretty I don't know. It just comes to me. It just flows. It's not something that I think about. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, been in the field of music. I actually started in church. Church is like the earliest like memory I have of like something musical. Because we used to have like choir. We used to have like I used to play like the guitar. I used to play like then now I'm playing the organ, and it's pretty great because it gives you a means to uh, serve like something else through like your work. So that's pretty good. And when I just started out, I never like got into production or any of that. I just like focused on my instruments. But much later, when I started, when I started getting into like mixing and like all that stuff at a really like, I wouldn't say a very young age, but um around like 11th to 12th grade. That's when I actually started writing music, you know. But yeah, that's I'm not very good at hyping myself, but that's it in a nutshell. Yeah.
Um, Let me hype you a little bit. Johann is one of the best musicians I know. He's a genius when it comes again Trinity grade 8 in again piano, guitar. I don't know, 6 instruments, I guess. But
I'm not paying
insanely
attention of
talented.
anything.
Yeah, and his uh, yeah, his music is insane. According to me, so you all should check it out, and
Yeah.
lots to learn from him today in this podcast. For me as well.
So I
Yes.
actually wanted to talk about a little bit about our influences, because I think that's important in, in this whole sort of
Right.
world where we are basically recycling like art at a point where, like, just recently I was listening
The key
to
to creativity is hiding your source.
yeah. I mean, I kind of half agree with you. I don't think gatekeeping I don't think gatekeeping music is like, a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain degree, and actually, I have like a perfect example, because there's this there's this one artist I know whose name is Phoebe Bridgers. I don't know if you know Phoebe Bridgers, but she's this really like she's this folk artist, right? And she's pretty cool. She has a very like very nuanced sound to her. And just recently, I was like, surfing the interwebs and like all that stuff, and I came across this one song, a garden song. It's just like it's mixed, like the mix is crazy, right? So they use like rubber bridge like guitars, and like they have this, it's basically like this filtered wall of like a backing track, and then her voice just like cuts through it with this high end. Like everything else is like
Hmm.
low, like, it has this like low pass, but she just like cuts through this like mix with a high end, and it sounds so different than what you're used to. Because so far, like, yeah, I love Phoebe Bridgers, man. Phoebe Bridgers is great. And like, I just think about like how, as an artist, she's quite unique in her own front. Like, she has this really like signature sound to her that you don't really hear in like a lot of folk music. It's mostly just like the same sort of like formulaic sort of like, approach to producing. So I think like
Right.
influences make a huge difference, because you don't see a lot of like, not to sound like that guy, but you don't see a lot of original work anymore, you know, at least in my
Right.
opinion.
Especially in the mainstream
Yeah,
music. So when my story, let me. It's gonna be a long one.
go for it.
I started out into music, I think, when I was in ninth grade, pretty late. I was learning the piano and stuff. But I was into hip hop mostly, Eminem and all those things. I was in that phase of life. But again, what I was playing, what I was learning, and what the music I was listening to was totally different, right?
Right.
And yeah, in school I had this crush on a girl, right? And I was usually this quiet kid,
Uh-huh.
didn't talk to anybody and stuff like that.
Right.
And then, but I noticed her noticing me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want to seem a little bit more popular and stuff.
Right.
So there's this kid next to me, sitting next to me. I'd always talk to him,
Right.
try to strike up a conversation, and he was into metal,
Right.
right? He was a hardcore metalhead. So, but pretty soon we became good friends, and then he introduced me to a band called Opeth. I fell in love with Opeth after that. I checked out everything they did online, and they also put out a documentary
Right.
from behind the scenes of recording one of their albums.
Right.
And then there was this guy. I didn't know who he was at the time. There was this recording engineer who was just sitting there, and he was just doing all these stuff. And you saw Michael Ackerfeld, the lead singer, being so impressed with what he could do.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was Steven Wilson, by the way, but I didn't know him at the time.
Right.
Yeah, so I
Obviously.
just saw this engineer. Like, I mean, he didn't do any. He was not a musician. He was not like a pro musician like the rest of the band were. He was just
Right.
sitting there on his computer, but he was making magic happen.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I didn't know guitar at the time. I was just a keyboardist,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe I could do this. Maybe I could be the engineer instead of, because it's too late for me to be a guitar god or something. But
Mm-hmm.
at least I could be an engineer. So that set my path.
Right.
From I think 10th grade, 11th grade, I always wanted to be a engineer. I
Oh, that's cool.
rolled myself up or enrolled myself into engineering school, record engineering,
Mm-hmm.
audio engineering school, and then I'm here. I got to meet Steven Wilson also.
That's
So
crazy.
my
Yeah, I
life
saw
has
that
been
yesterday.
complete.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that picture on
Yeah,
Insta. That picture's pretty great. Yeah. But yeah, like I 100% agree with you when you say, it's kind of like magic. Like he just made the magic happen, because a lot of people tend to overlook, how this works. They just like they don't really like see it through as like this process. There's like a very like there's a very real thing about like sitting down and recording a song from scratch and like mixing
right,
it, and there's like a whole like process to it, and people usually overlook that when they listen to like, especially like it's fine like when we talk about our community, when you think
yeah,
about like music creators and like mix engineers, mastering engineers, everyone in audio, they know what we're talking about, right? They can see that. But you think about the people who like just listen to like chart toppers, or like today's top hits or
right.
whatever, and they don't really look about like okay, who
I've actually been quite surprised because, again, all of my life since 2016, I've been
right,
into music, and my entire circle is filled with at least musicians or those who appreciate music.
right,
And sometimes when I talk to people outside of this circle, I'm very surprised how little music has to do in their life. And
exactly,
I just
right,
asked, yeah, and it's
yeah,
been really surprising to me. Recently, I came across this, and I asked someone, "Hey, what kind of music do you listen to?" And they're like, "I don't really listen to. I don't really have a favorite." I was
right,
like, "How can you not?" But
yeah,
but it's
because
been really surprising.
you get into this mindset that like music, like as far as I'm concerned, because and I've noticed this, right? I don't have a like a I don't have I could never remember a point in life where music was anything other than what my life is right now. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like it has
Yeah.
always been circled around music. It has always been related to or something about music. Like even when I
Right.
try to strike up conversations with people like whom I don't know, right? The
It's
first
going to be
thing
about music.
it's gonna be
Yes.
about music. It's gonna be about like because it's so universal. It's
Do you
such a
listen to
universal thing.
jazz?
Yeah, like the bee, right? Like from the bee movie.
Yeah.
Like, you like jazz? Yeah, but you get what I mean, right? Like it's
Yeah.
so, and more than anything, I feel like since it's such a visceral and integral part of like life as a person, it affects you like personally. It starts to affect like the music you make, you know or
Right.
like the music you like because this is like everything, right? You are what you attract, right? You are what you're like exposing yourself to. Like if I
Hmm.
listen to like let's say like I don't know, let's say like some rock music, right? Let's say I listen to like rock music, then I'll start to like I'll start to notice that my music itself that I'm writing, or the headspace that I'm in, is like getting affected by that, right? Like it doesn't
Right.
necessarily have to be in a bad way. It's just that it's affecting it in a way that it flavors the art I'm making. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think in that respect, it's probably like really cool because they definitely shape the approach to making
Right.
music. You know what I mean? Like to production, especially. Like you
Yeah.
can vouch for Opeth changing the way you like look at a production, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even have to be the same genre. Like it can be a completely different genre. But let's say something as
Yeah.
simple as like double tracking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is applicable to literally everything, like
Right.
literally every genre, and you don't have to do it, but it's a style, like it's a stylistic sort of approach. Like it's what defines you as like an artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think in that
Has been
respect, yeah,
advantageous for me as well, because again, most of the music I listen to is again metal and rock kind of music.
right,
Steven Wilson being one of the biggest influence,
right,
but most of the productions that I'm involved in are usually R&B or pop oriented, right?
right,
So I'm bringing this rock sensibility to pop production.
exactly,
Uh, so it's fresh in that field. So nobody
definitely,
can, usually. I mean, everybody can know, like, hey, you sound like Steven Wilson, but I admit it. But I hope, but I've been told that. But it's in the pop category, so I've been a little. My music is still fresh, is what I,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think,
I agree
I
with you.
believe.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think it's also to
even
do
though
with.
I'm ripping off Steven Wilson, but
I
it's still
wouldn't,
fresh because
like I said, I
yeah,
wouldn't see it as that. Like, I don't think it's ripping off so much as it is like just getting inspired, you know?
mm.
Like, obviously, plagiarism is like, another ball game.
It's
Like,
not intentional. It's in my blood, you know.
exactly. Like, you've been so tied down to that artist all your life that now it's come to a point where music can't sound any other way. And
Right.
that's not a bad thing. It's just how you like sort of sense it. So I think that's fine. I don't think it's a problem. Even for me, like I'm currently taking on I think you know this already, but for the
Yeah.
viewers, right? I'm taking on the challenge of making 8 different albums in 8 different styles of music, right? And so far
See,
it
I
has
told you he's a genius. I told you.
so far it is like, dude, you're too kind, man. But like so far it has taught me so much, like like making that music, producing it, like looking at like the influences that like are kind of getting, the front stage to like say for example About Last Night. When I put out About Last Night,
Yeah.
or when I was writing About Last Night, some of the tracks I had written in high school, you know and some of them weren't even meant to be on a pop EP. Like some of them were supposed to be on like a funk EP, or like like an R&B EP. But I listened to the lyrics. I reread, like I rewrote some of the stuff, and when I was producing it, because I had a goal in mind. I was like, okay, I know I'm supposed to do like pop, and if I want to do pop, I have to have these certain elements. Like I have to have like ear candy, I have to have like
Right.
maybe like a drum loop, or maybe like something that's repetitive, something that can
Yeah.
that you can feel, something that you can dance to. And that's the mindset I went into producing like About Last Night. But then
By
when
the
you
way,
get
it's a
into
good
like,
pop. By the way, it's not like the charts that you see here
yeah,
nowadays, but it's really good pop.
thanks,
Uh, I
but
was blown away by the production.
yeah, I
It's
really
I
really
wish
like.
I mixed it, but it's
And
insanely
you
good
can you can
sounding
mix it again. I'll,
record.
I'll release it as like a remix or something.
Remixes,
Yeah,
yes.
the remixes. But because I did a shit job, like I did
No,
a
it's
horrible job.
amazing,
No,
man.
no, no. Like About Last Night was fine, but I'm pretty sure like for Instagram, I tried something really different with that. Like it was this first like kind of low like voice, and then I got into a high voice in the second verse, and then the third verse or the interlude was like this rap like sort of thing, and that was fine. But like mixing and mastering it was like too much of like a challenge for me, because there was so much going on. And I think I botched the low end like so bad. But
Not at all, man.
yeah, but no, but
I think
honestly,
it's
like
good.
I mean it's all right for where I was at the time. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely needs a remix, but yeah, it was good for that time. But that's the thing, right? The point I'm trying to make is, when that was like About Last Night, when I get into Echoes, when I start thinking about like, okay, what am I looking for as far as the tone's concerned for this album? Like that completely changes. The approach completely changes. So I'm not looking at like, how do I say? I'm not looking at um these sort of you know risers, and like these effects and these glitches and all
It
that
was
stuff.
more songwriter oriented, Echoes
Exactly,
was. Yeah.
exactly. I'm not looking at like, okay, how do I make this like sound like a chart hit, like, because let's
Yeah.
be honest, at least right now,
Man, I was moved to tears, man. Some of those songs, oh,
yeah, man, I wrote some of them in high school, um wrote some of them in like college, and I've been sitting on like a lot of music, man. I've been sitting on a lot of music, but I know that if I take my time and do it well, like it's gonna
how do you
be.
still channel those emotions? I mean, I could still feel it. But I know it was been.
I
Does it still
That's such a
linger
good
on those
question.
emotions that you held on to?
That's such a good question.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, there are moments where I feel like I have to kind of get out of the mindset that I'm in, like
Mm,
currently at that moment, like, and enter a mindset of what I was at that time when I wrote it.
yeah.
Like, because even recording, like, as far as vocals are concerned, it's a very emotive thing. and if you listen to the album, you can hear it. You can hear like how raw the emotion is, and that's
Right.
something that I wanted to drive home, because it's not enough to like write a song. And I was talking about this with one of my students when I was taking class a couple of days back. It was a vocal class, and we were talking about the example song was "Wicked Game" by Chris Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about like how the lyrics, like recently Tenacious D did a cover of it. I don't know if you saw it.
Mm.
um but
Everyone
it's
covers that
like,
song. No, it's one of the
yeah, that song
go-to.
is like
Yeah.
amazing. And then I heard Jack Black sing it, and he
Mm.
doesn't sing it like, he doesn't sing any like the
He's
style.
usually a comedy artist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no,
He's funny.
but
Yeah.
it was really raw. Like the cover that
Mm-hmm.
they did was really like raw. It was really good. And I hear that, and I hear like Chris Isaac's version, and then I'm kind of thinking to myself like, the lyrics are so heartbreaking. Like the last
Mm.
line of the song, like, "No one loves no one," right? Or like, I don't know, I forget the line, but
Oof.
it's something to do with that, right? And
Yeah.
you hear these really like heart touching lyrics, but then you don't have like a, how do I say, you don't have like a voice that speaks to
Mm.
that, right? You don't have an
Right.
emotion that speaks to that. So I think in that respect, it definitely like, it helps to get into the mindset that you were in when you wrote it. For any artists who are like watching, um
Yeah.
and if you're struggling to like think about how am I supposed to feel the way I felt like back then, you think about the things that led up to you writing that song. You think about the reasons why you wrote that song. And
Yeah.
once you
It
get
can
into
be.
that,
It can take a toll.
yeah, and it
It,
did.
yeah.
I nearly lost my
Yeah.
voice recording "Let You Go." You can check, like, so
Yeah.
when I recorded "Let You Go," I was you can hear it towards the end of "Let You Go," where there's like this mismatch of like voices like coming from here and there and left and right, and you hear like how like angry I sound at the end, like because of those like takes that I was just doing one
Yeah.
after another. I nearly like lost my voice. Like I had like this couple of days of like one night where I was just like talking like this. It was like I had this like laryngitis type deal. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it definitely takes a toll. But it's important to know that you're getting into it with a purpose. You're getting into it to represent something. So yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, again, non-musicians wouldn't realize about the headspace. It's just like acting, right? We have to go into a headspace, and if you're making
Exactly.
negative songs, we are in that headspace, and it
Right.
actually takes a toll on us. And we do this for the love of making music. We want to
Right.
express ourselves,
Like
and
that's what I
yeah,
don't get with certain people, because everyone's like, yeah, how are you supposed to feel sad, and feeling sad is not that great, and you shouldn't be feeling like this. If you're gonna make music, you should make music that makes you happy. Like, I'm not making the music because I want to be like, I'm not making the music to
yeah.
represent something
Happy
happy.
music makes me miserable. You know,
Yeah,
it's
like
like,
you get like upset,
yeah,
like,
I don't like you being happy. I want
right.
I want to know that you're as miserable as me right now.
Yeah, I
You know, if
100%
you're happy, I'm
agree.
like, yeah, screw you, man.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing, right? Like, I think without getting into a place where you're vulnerable, your
Yeah,
music is just gonna be so like bland. It's like you
right.
can hear it, like not to sound like, and I'm not gonna say any names, but there's so many tracks, right? There's so many tracks
Yeah, I
today
mean,
on
yeah.
today's like charts that sound like so bad. Like the lyrics are terrible.
Shots
Like
fired. Shots fired.
Rick Beato,
Yeah.
he
Oh
made
yeah, he
a
just recently made
he
a
recently
video.
made a video like about, I think, a couple days back, about like
Hmm.
how today's hits, the lyrics are pathetic, and he uses the word
Hmm.
pathetic, and it's true, because now people are just doing it for the sake of like the business. They're just doing it for the sake of writing. They're not
Yeah.
doing it for the sake of like, okay.
They're not making records that last, you know?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
if you see across history, and if you study music history or something, you'll know the records that are being replayed right now. I mean,
Right.
nobody listens to Bad Guy anymore. You know, it was a
Right.
brilliant song, brilliant production, deserves the Grammy. But again, the the songs which lasts are songs which have good lyrics and
Right.
which emotionally connect to you.
Like
Uh,
there's this one Crosby, Stills and Nash song. It's called "Helplessly Hoping."
mm,
Like until now, like on every listen, on every single time I listen to it, it's like it has a completely different meaning. You know, like that's how
yeah.
cryptic the lyrics are. And I think lyrics, and this is one of the reasons why I appreciate artists that write with like no filter. Like
I mean, even Taylor Swift gets a lot of crap her way, but it's one of the reasons why she's so popular. Her lyrics, even though
yeah,
uh, despite the criticism, they're
right,
emotional based. They're based on
exactly,
emotions, and
exactly.
they appeal to people, and people still go back to her old albums and they still listen to it.
Right, like
Yeah,
I've heard like so recently I've been like trying to like I've been trying to take the extra effort to start to listen to music on my commute, because there's like
yeah.
no time to listen to music, so I'm just trying to like listen to music on my commute. Hold on, you went dark for a sec. I think you're hold on a second, just give us a second, guys. This is a bit of a technical difficulty. We will be right back. One sec.
I'm kidding, man. up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
So sorry about that
How many-
delay, guys.
Yeah.
Um,
How many viewers do we have?
We have 4
anyways?
viewers right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right.
Thanks for sticking around, 4 viewers.
Yeah. But anyway, so where were
Yeah,
we?
we're back.
We were. I forgot
I
what
hope.
we were saying.
Yes.
We were talking about something.
Yeah, Taylor Swift and
Yes.
her lyrics being,
Yes. Yes.
you
yes.
know,
So like,
timeless.
yeah, I've been trying to listen to music on my commute now, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm not getting like time otherwise. And for all the music that I missed out on, like, in all those like moments where I just don't actively listen to music, like now I'm kind of kicking myself. I'm kind of thinking to myself like, why did I not sit and like try to listen to like more stuff? Because I just like I think that it would have made more of a difference to my writing and to my production if I had actually
Right.
done that. So yeah, it definitely makes like a difference. Any what about you, man?
I have not got into songwriting yet, but I'm always working with songwriters. But I do what I do is mixing, which is a technical thing, but I consider it art, and
Yeah,
I consider myself an artist
I'm also
first.
I'm also saying like, how does it affect your mixing process? Because like I would say it, depending on what you listen to, you also kind of
Yeah.
mix in the same manner. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I go with the song, and I'm always making creative decisions, and again, technical and creative decisions. It's always influencing
Right.
uh, my decisions, whatever I make. The song, the mood of it, and all of those things. How aggressive certain things needs to be,
Right.
how subtle vocals should be, and all those things. Um, yeah, the mindset, the lyrics plays a huge part. And again, whenever I'm mixing, right, I usually have two sub mixes, like my instrument sub mix and my vocal sub mix.
Right.
Vocals are very, very important in a mix, so
Right.
they get their own sub. uh, so yeah, and also even when I'm doing dance mixes such as yours, I see that there's a vocals are a whole world in and of itself. You have main
Right.
vocals, you have DT, background vocals on DT, double tracked, and
Right.
then you have harmony vocals on double tracked. And even when I'm working with Dave, it's always again brilliant vocals, both of
Yeah.
you.
Shout out to Dave.
And you like to, yeah, shout out to Dave. We'll have him on our
Yeah,
podcast
we should
soon.
have Dave on here. It'd be pretty
Yes.
great. I would just like love to ask him like so many questions.
Yeah, man.
Because I just
And in case one of us gets a power cut, we can continue the
maybe the
conversation.
other maybe the other
Yeah,
will be able to yeah, but I definitely
save the
would love to
show.
have him here. It's
Yeah.
he's amazing. He's like, honestly, his music just
Again, I've
too
been
good.
moved to tears when I'm mixing his
Yeah,
track,
man.
man.
Like
Again,
that latest one he put out, Fall in Love Over You or something like that.
yeah.
Uh
I produced that, by the way.
oh, you did?
It's called Breaking My Heart Over
Break My
You.
Heart Over You, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Break My Heart Over
Oh, we
You.
did that in under 24 hours, and it was amazing.
That's I feel like like the music that doesn't overthink itself.
Yeah.
That music hits so freaking hard. Like recently, in our own personal messaging, I'd actually sent
Yeah.
you that little recording of like the song that I done.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. I wrote that song. I was in this really like you know bad mind space, and like I was just sitting in my bed and just writing that song, and
Yeah.
I wrote it like in 20 minutes. It must have been like 4 in the morning. It was dark, the TV
Right.
was on. I was just like under the covers, like on my phone, like putting down the words because I could
Yeah.
hear it in my head. And like the problem is like when you're in that position of like, when you're hearing stuff in your head, you have like a moral obligation to put that shit down. You know,
Yeah.
you can't like you can't lose it. You can't you can't just be like, nah, never mind. I'm gonna, chuck this and do it later or something like that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And funny story about that song. So I was going through something similar of what he was writing about. So he just sent over the scratch track to me, guitars and vocals.
Right.
I produced it, mixed it, and it was all under 24 hours. It was
Right.
like so motivated to get this out there.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm notorious actually for my
Holding out on like
long delivery
productions.
times. But this one, I was like, okay, this was insane. It was a miracle actually.
Yeah, and
Getting
honestly,
it done
it
under
sounds
24
so
hours.
good. I love that song. That's probably like after God. After Return to Saigon, I think that song's probably like my favorite song of his. Like, if not like number one, because like I
Right.
barely get time to listen to music, because like I'm either producing my own or like I have classes, and whenever I do get the time, it's just so refreshing to like hear something that doesn't sound recycled, because everything
Right.
sounds recycled. Like I think what I like the most about Dave's like music is the fact that he phrases so differently. Like he doesn't like his phrasing doesn't match the phrasing of like let's say like I mean if you're looking at like the main like music on the that's getting famous right now,
Right.
everything has like a flow to it in terms of like the syllables, but he doesn't like
Yeah.
he doesn't do that, and it's so refreshing to hear that, because it's always the same meter like all the time. I think you get what I mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same meter like all the time, and then he just does something like really different, which is really nice. So yeah.
I mean, there's so many stories about Dave's songs. Most of he sent me a song in 4/4. I turned it into a 6/8 once. Man, when we have
Anything
him
is
on,
4/4 if you believe.
yeah, yeah. Everything is 4/4 if you don't count like a effing nerd.
Oh man, yeah. But no, but honestly, such good music. I
Yeah.
really like his music. Damn.
And I've been very fortunate to work with. Again, I'm very selective about those
About
who
who
I
you
work
work
with.
with, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very fortunate to have been not relying on mixing for my living.
Right.
I'm an educator as well,
Right.
so I
I
have
think
that
that's the
avenue
best.
to make
Like,
my living.
it's probably the best deal. Like, at
Yeah,
least
so
for
I get to
my
work on good content.
right, because most of the time, just like not you don't get enough like opportunity if you're not like high up in the field. You don't get
Right.
enough reach, and then it's just like you're in this nether realm. You're in this limbo. So even for the people watching who are in sound, like if you feel like
Yeah.
you're, because I felt this way as well a while back, like long time ago. Uh, like if you feel like you're in this point where things aren't working out for you, or like things are not working out as fast as you'd like them to,
You
you
have to
should
hold
probably
on,
just
man.
like
Yeah.
play to your strengths. Like
Yeah.
if you know a lot about something, trust me, a lot of people want to know that something, but they don't know
Yeah.
how to know that something. That's also one of the reasons we started this podcast, because there is so much that both me and Prapujya can bring to the table. It's just a matter of like, you know, who wants that information. So don't be like tied down to like, no one's gonna like appreciate this idea. Just get it down on paper. The moment you do the work, and the moment you like have something to show for, I don't think anyone will have a problem if they have something to see. People
Yeah.
only like have something to complain about when there's nothing there. you
Yeah.
know and people will always have an opinion, so you can't give a you can't give a muffin or whatever. But yeah, what about workflow? Can you like walk me through your typical workflow, like
Um.
regarding, let's say like producing, if in any case when you do produce, regarding
Right.
mixing, regarding like multiple instruments, because you
Right.
mentioned that my mixes are kind of dense, and at least for
Uh.
me,
Yeah.
like I'm not very like good with mixing. I'll be honest, I'm not
Dense in
very
a
good.
good way. I mean,
No,
not
no, no,
like
no,
dense
no.
in a.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't take it like that. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like, from a mixing standpoint,
Right.
you're looking at like giving a place, giving like this one point source to everything in the mix, right?
Yeah.
Because you want everything to shine, or you want everything to be
Yeah.
heard.
Right.
How do you approach that? What's your workflow?
Cool. Again, I keep telling this to my students as well. We human hearing range is about 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Apologies if you heard that.
Yeah, it's all right.
Con.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Our human hearing range is from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That's true for a baby, right?
Right.
And if you're when you grow old, your hearing again it's being reduced. So, anyways, YouTube does not even do anything more than 16 kilohertz. Anyways, that's roughly 10 octaves, right? And the highest of the octaves and the lowest of the octaves are, anyways, you can't hear the pitches of it. So the key to a good mix is to have again, it's in the production. 50% of the good mix is in the production. So if you have any element that you're adding, make sure it covers the frequency spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
and don't add too many elements in one particular octave band. Then you're gonna end up with a lopsided mix and stuff like that, right? So if you're when I'm producing as well, that's what I'm trying to do. First and foremost, I get a scratch track. Usually, a singer songwriter will give me a vocals plus guitar. Um, and then I add all the instruments later. That's typical production, right? But again, my goal is to cover the frequency spectrum, not add too many elements in there. Again, I do a lot of minimalist approach when I'm producing,
Hmm.
but even when I'm mixing, that's my approach as well. I start from the ground up. I start from the low end, and then I start moving from there to the higher elements. It's much easier to mix high elements. It's just that the low end sometimes, when you're building on stuff,
Right.
you don't tend to hear the low end that much. And when you try to crank up the low end, your meters get eaten up. Low end is very how do I say this? They eat up the meters. They're very sneaky, so you have to take care of them first. So again, when I'm producing and even when I'm mixing, I always go for the low end first and get that right, and then I do vocals later. I mix vocals later.
Mm-hmm.
I do the instrumental first and then the vocals. Certain engineers I know like to mix the vocals first and then structure the instruments around the vocals.
Hmm.
Uh, but I don't know. I've always done the opposite. Instruments first, and a lot of what I do, I've been breaking down a couple of my mixes to my students recently, and I've realized a lot of what I do goes against the rules. And the old, if you've seen the meme, if it sounds good, bro, like
Right.
someone's asking for mixing advice,
Right.
they're drowning. They're like,
Right.
use your ears, bro. And I honestly feel like at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. I mean, when if you're a beginner mixing engineer, I would say follow some rules
Mm-hmm.
because you need direction. And but once you start doing it a long time, like for a over and over and over again, you
Right.
kind of have you develop your own workflow, and now you know what works for you. Now you know what doesn't
Doesn't.
work for
Yeah.
you, right? Again, I'm a in the box mixing engineer. I only use
Headphones.
this pair
Yeah.
of headphones cost 7K, by the way, 7,000 rupees.
Hmm.
And but all of my mixes have been done with this. And even if you give me a huge studio,
Hmm.
for first couple of mixes of mine will not sound as good because my ears have been so tuned to my setup that I have.
Right.
Uh, you know, Again, it's all about your ears. Your ears adapt to whatever you have.
Yeah.
Uh, so uh,
It took me
yeah,
like it took me a while as well, like as far as because when you said like your ears are like used to your listening environment.
yeah,
I used to mix on headphones like forever because
yeah.
I didn't really like back as a college student you didn't like have the money to like get like expensive studio monitors and stuff.
I still don't. But that's another story.
That's
But
another story.
yeah.
But
No,
like,
I'm just kidding. I make yeah.
come on,
Let me have to inspire the people.
we will obviously like get there, man. Like it's just
Yeah,
a
yeah,
matter
yeah,
of time.
yeah. I'm joking, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people
It's
take
a
me
good thing you
seriously sometimes.
specified that, huh? Anyway.
Yeah,
No, but yeah, but like I said, I've been mixing on like headphones for like quite a while now, right?
yeah.
And then you listen to like studio monitors in your like I got like a pair of Cali Audio. What are these?
Brilliant,
LP6s.
by the way.
I
Brilliant.
love
Yeah,
Cali Audio. They make like
yeah,
they are innates. I wanted to get the innates actually, but they're like way too pricey. So
yeah.
I think they're like $300 or something. So this is like just short of 150, but
Mm-hmm.
this is really good. Like for the price, man, the
Yeah.
soundstage is crazy. Like it's
That's
massive.
around the range of Yamahas, right? HS5s.
Around the same range as a HS5. But
Yeah.
this is a 6.5 this is a 6.5
Mm.
driver, which is pretty cool. And they are coincident speakers. So there's this one thing where the tweeter has this like there's this cool like 3D, it's called some 3D something, I forgot the name. But it basically gives you
Waveguide.
like waveguide, yeah. So
Oh man, I get so triggered when people put their monitors sideways.
yeah, same. Like
It's a
if you're
waveguide in there that's meant to be.
exactly like
Yeah.
if you're putting it the other way, it's just gonna make it white. It's just gonna make it like weird. But yeah, speaking about like different listening devices, when I got this on, when I
Yeah.
started listening to like it sounded good, but then my mix decisions were like weird. My mix
Mm.
because the thing is my room is really like it's in this weird like sort of configuration. Like my door is right there, so I
Mm.
can't put my monitor over here because if I open my
Right.
door, it'll hit my monitor. So it's actually behind me, like by
Mm.
a foot, like off my ear axis, like it's back by a foot, right? And this when I listen to music, I place my vocals like right behind me, like over here, because that's where I
Mm-hmm.
hear it. I don't hear it here. I hear it here,
Yeah.
right? Because it's behind me. So, they're still aiming to my ears. It's not that they're not aiming to my ears, but since they're coming from behind me, it sounds kind of like, this weird, like, sort of stereo space that's like kind of
Mm.
here instead of like right in front of me.
Right.
And
Right.
because of this, because now I'm used to it, right?
Yeah.
this is the reason why, like, my mixing decisions are weird. My mixing decisions are just like they're challenged now because now I don't know what to do.
Now that you're so used to the setup, if you move on to a better setup
I don't
or
think
even
I'll be
a,
able to like make a
yeah,
proper mix, you know.
yeah,
So I
uh,
definitely agree with you when you say, like, you're talking about like the one headphone, like I don't think it really
yeah,
matters what you
another,
mix on.
yeah, as long as you adapt to it. So
Right.
another funny story, I got these headphones back in the days. Mobile phones still had the headphone jack.
Right.
So when I was used to casually listen to music, I used to use these headphones as well. So I used to plug it into my phone and
Right.
listen to music,
Right.
and that's been a huge influence on my mixing because I know these cans in and out
Right.
because of that. Because I've been listening to music that I like through
Right.
these, so I know how good music is supposed to sound like with these headphones
Like,
and
if
with
there's like
this.
a bloat here or like a dip there or whatever.
No,
Like,
my
you've
my
learned the
ears have
curve.
just been tuned to this.
Yes. Yeah. You've learned
It's
like the curve
calibrated
almost.
to
Yeah.
this. Yeah. So I mean,
I
very
don't think
easy
I
to
can say
calibrate
the
the human
same.
mind. Yeah.
Like, as far as an analytic, sort of approach, because one thing
Yeah.
I've noticed on echoes, when you like, when you make with Save You and I listen to Save You, like that versus like all the other music I've made is it's so much more clear. There's so much more clarity. There's
Do
so
you
much
want to
more.
know another funny story about
Go
Savior?
for it. Go for it.
Yeah. So when I was mixing Save You, my my headphones earpiece
Right.
was coming off. The ear pads were coming off.
Right.
So so what happened was, I'll show you. These ear pads, right,
Mm-hmm.
on the screen, if you can
Right.
see,
Right.
uh, they have a certain distance. They create a certain distance from the driver
Hmm.
to the driver to your ear, right?
Right.
There's
Right.
a certain distance there. So the low end, if you move it further or inside, the low end changes.
Yeah.
And so what had happened was, this thing was like coming off. The stitches were coming off. So they were not sitting at an ideal distance. They were supposed to sit, the driver and my ear. And
Right.
they were sitting a little bit further behind. So what happened was, because of that, I wasn't hearing low end enough. Because
Right.
if you can try this at home, the viewers, the
Right.
four viewers that we have,
Yeah, they're down
if you
to two
listen to
now.
music, oh,
It's
oh,
okay. It's okay. First day. I think first day we're
yeah,
doing pretty
yeah,
well.
yes. So if you listen to music like this, you'll not hear any low end, right?
Right.
So that's what was happening to me as well. So there was, because of
Because it
that
wasn't it
gap.
wasn't close enough to the
Yeah, it
ear,
wasn't
right?
close enough to my ear, and the whole entire mix was very bright. Or actually not bright. It was quite low on
Right.
the heavy on the low end.
Heavy on the
So I
low
had to
end.
correct for it later. And in
That
fact,
actually makes so much more sense now. Because
yeah,
I was thinking to myself, like, why does it sound so like the snare, like, it
yeah,
almost gave me a nosebleed. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I mean? Like, it was so
yeah,
like, bam, like in your face. And I was thinking to myself, like, no, because I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean this in like
yeah.
like you did it so like so well, like it was so crisp, it was so clear. But like the moment you hear it, it's just like it sounds so different from like every other mix that I've done, and it's I probably
So
prefer it now.
so when I realized this, when I realized why I realized there was too much low end on this mix was when I was using my earbuds.
Right.
And then I was just testing out the mix on the earbuds, and I was like, oh my, there's no high end in it at all. So I had to bring it back in, and I was mixing on my earbuds at that
Right.
point. And I do not recommend that at all. Do not mix on your earbuds. But yeah, Savvy was mixed on earbuds a little
That's crazy.
bit. Yeah, so when I'm mixing again, so I tend to throw out the rule book, which I really it's bad,
I think
bad, bad,
I think
bad
it's
practice.
fine sometimes, like if you
But
get the result, I think it's okay.
yeah,
But
when you've been doing, again, practice is the key, man. I mean,
practice is
start by
key.
following the rules, and it's like jazz, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
there
It's all about
are no
like
right
as far
notes.
as like no man, no, you're like half right. At least like
Yeah.
as far as jazz is concerned, it's all about context, right?
Mm.
Like exactly, just like Kaushik says, what sounds good ends good, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's one of your students, I'm guessing. So
Hmm.
yeah, like it's just like it's just about where it is in that particular place. Like if you're making a particular decision, it should work with everything else. If it doesn't
Right.
work, then it's obviously gonna stand out. It's obviously gonna sound bad, you know. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah,
Yeah, if it sounds good, it sounds good, but then you have to have practice, you know.
right, right,
Yeah, and
definitely
that's
agree.
it.
What about like certain challenges? What about like as far as like, what have you faced regarding, juggling like, working or education, and then like in education, and then working, as like this, and like how do you like, like it helps that you're also educating as a sound engineer, but
Yeah.
as I mean, as far as like, your your targets are concerned, right? Like how about that? How does it affect that?
Um, I mean, it's very hard to think of any downsides to my life right now.
Hmm.
Obviously, I don't get to work on a lot of music because I do have a full time job. Besides mixing engineering, I'm not a full time mixing engineer. But that's the way I prefer it. I get to work with people that I want to work with. Again, I see myself as an artist more than a technical person sometimes, and it's a collaboration. The
Right,
music that I'm working on, even though my I don't know, it's I'm leading a double life. You know, it's like I'm a technic. The what I do best is the technical stuff,
right,
but then I'm also an artist, right? So I see all of the songs that I'm working on as my songs, uh, and I take as much pride in when the songs do well, when it gets streams. I'm also happy with it,
right,
even though I mean it's not my name on the song, it's not my face on the song, but still it feels like it's my song.
right.
And
Because you
again,
spend so
that's how
much
I
time on it. Yeah.
yeah, and it's again, I'm not obligated to do it at all, you know.
Right,
um, so it's all entirely by choice, and it's selective. And yeah, downsides to that is I don't produce a lot of mixes. But then the mixes that I do produce are extremely, extremely good.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not to
I
say that
100% agree. You can definitely say that, man. There are
no,
people out there who are like, my mixes are like really good, and then the mixes are like really
no,
bad. Like, bro, your mixes
no.
are not good.
So, okay, I'll tell you the secret. The biggest secret why my mixes are very good is because I work with really good producers.
Yeah,
Okay. Uh, Again, 50% of the mix is in the production, and the
definitely.
production is
An
so well.
arrangement, an arrangement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think people
arrangement.
tend to overlook arrangement a lot, It's like,
Yeah.
I think sound selection also makes a big difference because nowadays, everything's like easy with MIDI. Like you can just load in
Yeah.
like a drum library and like whatever. But I think like if you pick like a synth, like for
Yeah.
example, you could have like millions of different sounds to put on that one like element that you've added in. The right choice makes or breaks the song. Like there was this like, so right before I put out About Last Night, right before I like started like mixing it, there was
Yeah.
this one like sample that I was using, that I had pitched down, and like I had done like a lot of work with it, and I heard the process stuff versus like the original, and then I was
Right.
just like, the original works too.
Hmm.
I could just use the original. I don't have to use the I don't have to use this so much like ton of processing, because it actually
Right.
sounded way more warped than like what it was later, or what it was before.
Yeah.
So I definitely like, yeah, definitely agree with you on that. How about like
Uh,
understanding like your artist's vision, like,
yeah, it's everything. Again, that's everything, man. Again, a lot of students again have this conception that being a good mixing engineer means making it sound good, but then you also have to realize that what is good is very, very subjective,
right,
and then you can't. Again, I am very fortunate to work with artists who we are aligned. Our tastes are aligned, as I could say. Whatever sounds good to me also sounds good to you and Dave and
right,
the others I work with. And but again, if you're working with a client, again, it's your whole mission is to execute their vision.
right,
That's what makes a good mixing engineer. It's not that what you think is good, that's only what I'm going to do. No, it's about the artist. If the I have a very bad, it's a very rude sentence, but it's actually true.
go for it.
But no offense to any artist out there or any clients out there, but the how do I say this? If the client wants shit, you deliver shit.
Hmm.
And again, not to step on anyone, but it's just that you need to keep your opinions aside when you're mixing, actually,
Correct.
and you need to think about, okay, what does he want? What sounds good to the client,
Right.
right? And again, I've never had to. I mean, back in the early stages, this was one of my biggest challenges in mixing. I
Mm-hmm.
used to get so many requests for revisions, and yeah, because I didn't think that music sounded good, but I was trying to repair it and trying to get the snare. I was trying to change the entire tone of the snare
Right.
and all those things
But then they were
back
just
when I
like,
was
it's
starting
fine.
out. Yeah, no, back when then they were like, no, the same snare does not sound good. Um, but again, and also I remember one time, again back in the earliest days of my mixing,
Right.
um, someone had sent me guitar tones which were, in my opinion, basically white noise, and I spent so much amount of time. I've asked him for the
I think about Joey
DI.
Vasanek when you say that.
Right. So I
Oh,
asked him for the DI tracks, and I reamped the whole thing
right.
and tried to change the entire tone of the guitars. But then he was like, no, this is not the guitar tone I want.
This is not what I want. Yeah.
The tone that I've sent you, that is the guitar tone. And I had to
That's what
stick
I
with it.
want. And it's
Even
crazy because
though,
like
yeah,
what they give you sometimes is like it doesn't work with the mix. And no matter how much
yeah,
surgical EQ you do, no matter what you do, you can't
yeah.
make it sit in the mix. So I definitely like it makes a lot of sense when you say like if you want shit, you gotta if they want shit, you gotta deliver shit. You know what I mean?
No offense to anybody. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
trying
know.
to deliver
I
the.
don't think
You,
it's
you have
I
to
don't
work towards the client's vision. That's
exactly
what I want to say,
exactly.
but it's in a very rude way.
No, but I don't think it's wrong. It might be
Yeah,
rude, but it's not wrong. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Because it definitely could be worse. You know. But yeah, that's
As
cool,
long
man.
as the artist is happy, the guys whose face on it, the guy whose name on it on the track is happy, then you should be happy.
Right.
You know,
How about your preferences as far as software is concerned?
I like Reaper.
Okay.
Reaper is my go-to DAW. I used to be a hardcore Pro Tools guy. I think I still am a hardcore Pro Tools
Yeah,
guy.
I was never a
Pro
fan to
Tools
be
for
honest.
mixing. uh, I mean, I use a lot of DAWs, man. I love Pro Tools for mixing.
Mm-hmm.
I love Logic for production. I love Reaper for mastering. But these days, I do everything on Reaper.
Right.
Reaper is like one of those all
All
round
rounders.
DAWs out there
Right.
for me. So, yeah, and yeah, I even do sound design for Reaper. So
Wow.
ideally, but if I had everything, if I was like had a ton of money,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'd use Pro Tools for mixing. I'd use Logic for production. I would use Reaper for sound design, and yeah. Um,
Yeah, man.
Ableton for live performance. There you go.
Yeah, Ableton.
There's a
Ableton.
rumor that I
I
hate
was. I was
Ableton,
like. I
but
was kind of. Yeah, you got to shout out Ableton, man. Come on.
shout out to Ableton. We
Yeah.
can do a lot of live performances
Ableton's
with
pretty
Ableton
great.
that we
Like I
can't.
don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know about the DAW was, but like I feel like Ableton definitely brings something to the table. There's this one guy
Yeah.
on Instagram I follow. His name is his handle is Jabo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it
Mm.
correctly. It's Jabeeau. This guy is insane. He's like a wizard. Like I wouldn't necessarily listen to the music that he makes, but
Mhm.
like it's crazy. Like the stuff that he can do, the stuff that that he can do with Ableton. Like he's a very like strict endorser of Ableton, but the stuff that he can
Right.
do with it is insane. Like the chains and like the stuff he does with macros and like feedback and all this stuff. It's really cool. It's really
Hmm.
cool. Anyway, one last couple of questions, and then maybe
Yes.
we can see if we can wrap. But any favorite plugin of yours?
Oof. Um, I am not an analog guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry about that. Let me watch that. I am not an analog guy. I prefer digital plugins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally embracing the AI movement,
Yeah, same.
because
I mean,
again,
I'm
if
getting
you've
there.
noticed, yeah. Uh, sorry to jump ahead.
It's cool. It's cool.
Hmm. But yeah, I like to use isotope plugins. I do use analog, but very occasionally and stuff like that. But my most of my plugins, stock plugins, are everything for me. But isotope is one of the plugins that I use quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what am I? Waves, a couple of Waves plugins. Waves and Isotope are the only paid plugins I have. Also, I have this plugin by Focusrite. When I started out, I got a
The
Focusrite
red compressor,
interface. The
right?
red compressor is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, the
I,
red
I I
compressor's got
got
a lot
my
of like
yeah
a lot of praise, yeah.
I got my hands on the UAD compressor recently,
Mm-hmm.
but I still go back to my red compressor. It's that good.
Right.
Uh, I don't know what the it has a mix knob which I really like.
Right.
Um, the dry
Is
wet
it is
knob
it
that
based
is.
off an 1176 or
I'm
is it?
not sure what it is based off of.
Because
I
I
think it's 1176 actually.
because I don't like
Uh,
I had a Focusrite interface, and I think you can get it
yeah,
free
I
with
don't use
subscription.
Focusrite anymore.
But I don't have
Yeah,
one now. Like, and I
yeah.
never registered mine, so I don't know, like, where
Ooh.
it was. Um,
Focusrite are really good with their plugins.
yeah,
I'd recommend them just for that. Sound wise,
the
I'd recommend
Sapphire
something else,
series,
but yeah,
the Sapphire
yeah.
series. Oh my god, crazy! I have like
Hmm.
so me and like my cousin when I went to Goa last year. I don't know if he's still watching, but he is in the chat. He was in the chat. His name is
Ah.
Evan, brilliant guitarist, mind blowing. He's like 1 year younger than me, and he's crazy. He's like, you should listen to his stuff. He's just journaling like a few of his musical ideas on like Insta right now.
Mhm.
But so good. Like he does like two hand tapping, and like the whole like deal. It's like it's crazy, honestly. Me and I actually met him last year in November. Not last
Mhm.
year, the year before that. And we produced late night conversations.
Right.
And we did that in like 4 to 6 days. And he has a like in our studio in Goa, we have like this Sapphire series. We have the Focusrite Sapphire,
Right.
and brilliant. Like I never worked with it. The first time I worked with it,
Hmm.
I was like, damn, this thing can do quite a lot of
The
shit.
high end Focusrite stuff is really good.
So
It's just
good.
the Scarlet.
I
Yeah.
would say it's
I
probably
mean,
like
yeah,
in the same level as a if because I've heard a UAD like
yeah.
the interfaces. I've heard an Apollo. I've heard like
Right.
the 16X. I think that it's probably on the same level as that. It has this
Hmm.
certain warmth to it, like a Sapphire. The preamps are so good. But yeah, brilliant stuff, man.
Yeah. The interface I'm using these days is my Audient.
Oh yeah, same yo. I have a
Yeah.
ID14. I don't want to move my webcam because this webcam is like insane. I probably have to get a new
um,
one. But yeah, I have an
Man, I
ID14.
like, once I got this. I mean, it was recommended to me by my mentor actually.
Uh huh.
When I first started interning at a studio, the engineer over there had a Audient, and he told me, "You get this one. That's it.
Right.
You don't get anything else." And I didn't believe him at the time. I got Motu. Motu was really good,
Yeah.
but it broke on me.
Hmm.
Uh, but then eventually I was looking for a new interface, and I was like, okay, fine. Let me just go through with Audient, because Audient does not really give you so many plugins and all those things,
Right.
but it's also slightly expensive than Scarlett and all these
Slightly
things.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then I was like, okay, fine, let's go ahead with it, and I can't look back ever since.
Me neither.
I
Like
cannot imagine any other interface right now.
honestly, I compare the
Uh,
Focusrite. Like the first Focusrite I had was just like
yeah.
a shit. It was like an iTrack Solo. Right. It was really bad. But
Mm.
you compare
Yeah, I
like
think I remember your focus
you
right.
remember that
It's a
gray
white one,
one?
wasn't it?
It was the
It's a
white.
gray one,
Yeah,
yeah.
the white gray one. I hated that interface. It was so gross. But I listened to the gain stage on the ID14 the first time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man! This thing has like 58 dB of like gain structure, and it
Yeah.
makes like it. This is like a Behringer mic. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say shout out Behringer because I don't want to get
Hey
cancelled.
man, I love Behringer. Yeah.
But
I will fully endorse Behringer, man.
I wish I could, but like people have some problem with it. I don't even know why. I wasn't even bothered to look. But
I know the reason. I'll not get into it,
I
but
don't
I
want
know
to get
why.
into it
But
either,
I
man.
and that is the exact reason why I support Behringer.
Okay, I don't wanna.
We are broke.
Yeah, man.
Behringer any
Exactly.
day.
Right? Like, dude, I got three
Yeah.
of these mics for like $50. which is like
I'm not broke. I'm just
crazy,
kidding.
is
Yeah.
like crazy cheap for like 3 really good dynamic mics. Like I use this in
Right.
church,
Mm-hmm.
like I think like they're onto something. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is a 58 dB gain structure makes this like piece of crap mic sound like, I mean, you guys know how I'm not running it through anything right now. I'm not running it through anything,
Mm.
and it sounds so good. So I definitely think that like I'm pretty sure the preamps on the ID series are the same as the console. At least that's what I read. I don't know if it's true. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, but when I'm taking an interface, I'm not very particular about preamps. I know it's super important, but for
yeah,
me, the DAC is
yeah,
important, the
digital
output
audio,
end, the
yeah,
other end.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's important for me. And a lot of these, again, interfaces are very much focused on the ADC,
right,
the but Orient is one of those interfaces where the DAC is very good.
right.
So for mixing, that's insanely good quality.
What about like talking about how do I say the what was I gonna say? I forgot. Um, I completely spaced. Oh, yeah. There's this one thing called, I don't know if you know Prism Audio. Do you know Prism Audio?
I've heard of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's this one interface. I actually was told about by a friend of mine. His name is Niven.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like apparently really good. And I don't know. Have you heard of the Babyface? RME
Yeah, I've
Babyface.
heard of the baby's face. Yeah.
Karan Kanchan. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
probably butchering his
Yeah.
pronunciation, but
You know him?
I don't know him. But he was in
Right.
CMedu, right?
Yes, he was.
Um, he was in the Pune branch, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's like big right now, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
his like interface of choice is the RME Babyface. So
Hmm.
it seems to get a lot of like really like a good rap.
Army is. Yeah, I've heard
Mm.
a lot of good. I mean, a lot of
I
legends
actually
use
want to get
Army.
it myself, but I'm not sure about the preamps. Like I'm a little. I think it's
Yeah.
more of like a DAC versus like a, you know, versus a
Mm-hmm.
preamp. So,
Right.
looking into like getting a proper like preamp soon. But yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah. I'm just looking to get the ID 14 again. I'm sticking with Audient. I'm loving it. The only thing with I would honestly, if you're the thing is right now this thing only has one input, one guitar input and one mic input.
Right.
But if I'm doing anything like let's say if I wanted to use an outboard gear,
Right.
then if I had a four input interface, then if you want to use outboard gear, then you should at least have four inputs
Right.
and four outputs, because
Right.
the two will be your monitor outs and the two can be your sends, and you should have that many inputs as well.
Right.
So if you're planning to use, that's what I would upgrade to, and
I mean, it also depends on the place I'm producing in. Because right now I'm in my home
yeah.
studio, but it's not like studio.
Mm.
Like my you can see the foam on the walls, but that doesn't do shit. Like,
Oh,
and
please don't buy those.
I only bought them because like I wanted to like create a space to record vocals, but then I got like that
Right.
isolator. I don't know if you can. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be better
it's
actually. The
camouflaged on
isolator.
the wall, but yeah, I got that isolator, and it actually does a pretty good job. So I guess all the foam was for nothing. Anyway,
Famous for aesthetics.
yeah, man. What about the role of aesthetics in like this industry, man? It like pisses me off
Oof.
sometimes.
Oof.
I could talk about
Ah,
like so much about that.
yeah. I'll get myself cancelled if I
Yeah, same.
go further. Yeah.
Just leave it there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Um, what else? What else do you think we need to touch on?
We covered our workflow,
Covered quite a
our
bit today.
yeah, man, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Uh, Mics, what do you use
Mics.
for
Okay.
recording?
I use an
By the way,
Yeah.
you record at home, don't you?
I do. I do.
Yeah, the same room that you're.
The same room I'm in right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want the viewers to know that.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
Please go check out my mix, "Save You" by
Yeah,
Johann,
please do,
the
guys.
great.
Please do.
And while keep in mind, it was recorded in a room.
Yeah, this was
No
not
acoustic
okay.
treatment.
This is
Yeah,
no like okay. If acoustic treatment to you is like those flimsy foam you see on the wall, that's not acoustic treatment. Okay, acoustic
yeah, that's true.
treatment is like proper, like thick fiberglass boards that can take in mid information, not high
Yeah,
information. This is only high
and loose.
information.
Yeah,
Okay, and honestly, it's kind of terrible. I just put it there because I needed like a space to record vocals.
shots fired, Johann.
Yeah,
You'll
I'm
get an
sorry,
email
but it's
by.
true. Like, it's true. It doesn't do anything to your room.
Yeah.
I've even done testing. After I finished, after I finished putting this up, I don't know if you know this application called Equalizer APO.
Mhm.
So Equalizer APO is like a third-party plugin. It's not a plugin. It's
Right.
like it's a software that
Right.
runs as a filter on your audio output. So
Mm-hmm.
it's basically like that application that you can like run like calibrations for a room and then add an
Right. SonarWorks.
SonarWorks, right? So SonarWorks reference, it's just like SonarWorks reference,
Do
but
you want me to get into a rant about that? Those kind of softwares?
go for it. Oh man, but
Okay.
yeah, before you start,
Yeah.
I was using Equalizer APO in this room.
Right.
I did a before measurement and I did an after
Hmm.
measurement. I don't have it yet because it's on my other laptop.
Hmm.
Zero difference. The only dip was around like 700K or something.
Right.
And it wasn't even a dip. It was like this. I think it was a anomaly with like with the speaker I was using. Because the speaker, I think, maybe had a crossover at like 700, and it was probably the reason. Because that time I didn't have I didn't have monitors. That time I had this like
Right.
2.1 system. It was really shitty. But
Right.
yeah, for those who asked, this is my first mic.
Louis.
I
Yeah.
don't use this anymore.
I have the same one.
Yeah,
I
this
have
mic
the
is
same one.
awesome. This mic is like,
Yeah.
if you guys are looking for a budget mic that sounds like amazing, go for the Louis 440 Pure. But right now I'm
Brilliant,
using
man.
an NT1 by Rode.
Eek.
Backing
Sorry.
vocals.
Sorry.
It's okay, man. What do you have against Rode though?
No, I prefer the Louis 440s.
You prefer the Louis 440. Okay. I think
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get into like buying a Lauten audio, something that mimics Telefunken.
But yeah. Oh, by the way, the viewers. Hello, viewers.
There's only one of them.
When
Go ahead.
when you're listening to Save You, please make sure that you keep in mind it was recorded on the Rode NT1A,
Yeah.
and it was
No.
recorded in a.
No. Savvy wasn't.
Oh.
Savvy wasn't on an NT1. Savvy was on the
Oh.
Louis 440. Yeah.
Oh, nice. But it's around the same price, anyways. Please keep
Yeah.
in mind it was recorded on a
You don't.
Louis
Okay.
440.
Yeah. You don't need a good
Brilliant
mic.
mic, but
Okay.
yeah.
You don't need a good mic. You don't need a good acoustic space. You just need obviously you need a quiet space. But you have honestly you have plugins now to remove noise. So
I mean, listen to the
you
mix
guys
and
have
judge for
AI. You
yourself.
guys don't have an excuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mixed on 7,000 rupees headphones.
Yeah. You guys have zero excuses.
What? 18,000 rupees audio interface. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Reaper also, by the way.
You don't need
Which-
honestly and that's another thing I think about how people spend so much money on gear when you don't need that much gear,
Hmm.
you really don't.
It's what I say is it's like it doesn't matter if you're on Maruti or Lamborghini. Your point is getting from A to B.
Exactly.
And yeah,
Like
and you can even go by
I would
cycle if you want.
prefer to live track all my instruments, but I don't own certain synths,
Hmm.
I don't have certain the actual physical synthesizers. So it's good to use MIDI once in a while, but if you can live track it,
Sorry about that.
it's all right. It's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're coming up on an hour and 30 minutes.
Damn.
So any closing notes?
Do you want me to go on the rant
Please
about
do.
Rubik? Yeah.
We have
Cool.
another 5
So-
minutes.
So basically, when you're doing acoustics, the two main factors affecting the room are its frequency response. Is the room boosting the low end, the mids, the highs, certain because of the standing waves, right? Because of the dimensions of the room, Again, they're boosting certain highs and lows.
Right.
And another factor that affects room is something called as RT60, or
Yes.
basically
Reverb.
decay of
Yeah.
frequencies.
Reverb time. Yeah.
And this is frequency dependent, right? And what room EQ or your SonarWorks and all
Works.
these things, they're basically an EQ which can correct for the standing waves and everything of that, but they cannot correct for the decay of sound. So if you have a room and you play a particular short burst of frequency, let's say
Right.
100 hertz,
Right.
you, even though you played it for a 1 millisecond, that sound is going to linger for a long time as compared to, let's say, 1K note. And no amount of EQ correction can correct that unless until you actually physically correct with panels.
Right.
Software cannot correct decay. Software can correct probably the frequency response, but not the decay of the
Do you
frequencies.
think it's like do you think it's viable though? Like for bedroom
See,
producers?
again, it's your ears. Your ears have to get adapted, and then everything goes from there, right?
Right.
Again, you can Billie Eilish. It was mixed again, produced on HS7s, right, and with a UAD in her bedroom. She still records in her bedroom. So it doesn't need a lot of money and expenses doing these things. But then again, it'd be nice. Again, your ears are very adaptable. Your ears are one of the most expensive tools that you can have. So they will adapt.
Right.
But I'm just telling you that it is not ideally the end all solution. These Sona works.
Right.
I mean, they can help, but
They
nobody can
can't.
correct the
Yeah.
decay of the
Right.
room.
And I think that's something worth considering because
Mm.
a lot of people think that the mix is, just in here, but it's not.
Mm.
The mix like is in a space. It's in the space you're in. So even if you're mixing on headphones, even if you're mixing on like, monitors, even if you're mixing in your car, like
Johann, guess how many reverb tracks I used in Save You?
uh 6,
Two.
2
Two.
doesn't sound like that. I thought you'd have like 6, like maybe one for like the snare and like, one for the
One is I
drums.
just one for the instruments and one for the vocals.
What?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like sends.
Yeah.
Damn. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
They're all
And
being sent into
what's
one
the
reverb
what's the
plugin.
DK on that? What's the DK on that?
Oh, it's same, but I just prefer having reverb and instrument reverb separate.
Hmm.
But then it's only two
But they're both the
reverbs.
same DK time.
Yeah, they're both the same.
So what, like 2-3 seconds? How much?
That I don't remember.
Huh. But it's the same
But
DK
then
time. Just
it's the
different
same.
different amount of
It's the
sends.
same.
That's
It's two
wild, bro.
reverb tracks.
That's crazy.
Guys, please listen to the mix of Savior, huh?
Yeah, please do. I'll link it in the bio. I'm probably gonna have to do it after this live ends. I'll probably have to link everything in the
One of
bio.
these days we'll do a proper breakdown, I think, in
Yeah,
one of our podcasts. But
definitely.
yeah, I think it's gonna
Um,
blow your mind.
yeah, we should like
No, those of you who don't know me are gonna be like, what
nah
is,
nah. It's
but
cool. It's okay.
yeah.
um I think breaking down is definitely important, and we'll also start
Yeah.
doing a few tutorials. I feel like that's also like a little, it's probably gonna
Mm.
be like great. So yeah, thank you for sticking around. um
Yes.
any
How many viewers do we have,
we
Johan? Is
have
there
I
anybody
think
there?
Kaushik's still there. He just sends something in,
Oh,
so
damn.
I think he's your
Thanks
only
for
like,
sticking around
thank you,
despite all our.
all our
Yeah, man.
jabbering, but no, yeah, but
And all
thank
the
you.
technical difficulties and all
And
the
also for
through thick and thin.
thanks for sticking around through the power cut and
Yes.
like everything. But yeah, we will be doing this again next Saturday.
Yeah.
This Saturday rather. Today's over, right?
Yes.
Thanks Kaushik for staying, and thanks everyone who viewed the video. Thanks to everyone who will view the video. Just like and subscribe
In
and
the
share this to any of your
future.
other musician, producer, mix master friends, whatever. Share
Yes,
share
please.
it to them. Because
Yeah.
we are gonna be doing a lot more content throughout the course
Yeah,
of the
and
next
if
couple
you
of
want
months.
to join the conversation, DM us.
Yes, if you want to join the conversation, please DM us on the record. The Instagram is right here, so you can just check it out. Send us a
By
message.
the way,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know what on the record means,
Yeah.
It's a genius wordplay from our end.
From
We're
his
talking
end.
about songs, right?
His end.
Yeah, talking about records, right? And we're on the record because
Right.
I mean, this is
It's
out
pretty
there on the
great.
internet forever and ever. So we're on the record talking about records. So
Yeah. Genius wordplay, genius name from the genius mix and mastering engineer. You guys are so lucky to have him like teaching you. It's pretty great, honestly.
I'm going to
Uh,
clip that for sure.
but yeah, honestly, like
Thank you, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really mean it. Um, so yeah, any ideas as well? Just put them in the comments.
Yeah.
Anything you want, like talked about, anything you think is like something worth talking about, put it in the comments, and we'll get to it. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Prapujya, for joining us, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.
See you. Bye. I'm just going to keep talking. The post stream conversation has to happen.
1 second. Hold on a minute.
Bye, guys.
I
I'm
don't
going
think
to
there's
stay
any
on.
music on the last thing, so we can disconnect the call. We're done.
Bye. You want to talk about it later or you're done?
I'll just